Running Up the Score.
You're listening to the Running Up the Score podcast. Now here's your hosts, Jerry Napoleonello and Kevin Donlin.
Welcome back to another episode of Running Up the Score. I'm Jerry Napoleonello. He's Kevin Donlin. Week 13 is here. I hope everybody had a happy and fun Thanksgiving. I will tell you right now, I didn't have a good Thanksgiving.
Why?
Because I watched the game that was the most watched Thanksgiving Day game since 1993, and there was 28 penalties called in the game. The refs were horrendous, and I saw a loss.
Yeah, it was so awesome. I'm in a suicide pool, and a lot of people had Dallas, so very grateful that people went with that. I'm still confused as to the aspect of it. You don't have either defensive end, you have no wide receivers, and why anyone would think this was a safe play.
Yeah, for a suicide.
Didn't make any sense to me. I was a big fan of the Raiders this week, plus 7.5. Lock of the week. No, why lock of the week won yesterday?
We actually did pretty well.
Chargers
our
Chargers were my bad pick. I thought the Chargers were going to win.
Rams were a bad pick. Too.
Yeah, Rams were pretty bad too. They didn't win.
We both picked the Chargers. You picked the Rams and the Chargers. Those are your two losses. You won your lock of the week, and you picked the Falcons also. Yeah. Which was definitely a step out there,
Yeah.
Being that how bad the Falcons are.
Yeah, no, but obviously, what was it, Jacksonville, right?
Yeah.
And Jacksonville's
they're just
another level bad.
Yeah,
no, like.
But yeah, I actually I went 3-1. My lock of the week, lock of the week.
Cut.
Lock of the week hit hard. Cincinnati, baby.
Yeah, no, that was
hard.
Yeah, that was a good one. I actually liked them a lot too. I actually think I took them as well this week. They, Pittsburgh in a little bit of trouble right now. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind, and it's really not on one player. It's really on the offensive line. I think this team is just a revamp of the offensive line, though, away from being competitive again.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into the Steelers soon, but I mean. How was your Thanksgiving? Everything?
Yeah, well, everything
good?
was great with Thanksgiving. I mean, I told you, I'm not really a big fan of the meal itself. I have turkey all year round, so turkey. There's some people that don't have it and then just have it for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I'm not one of those, so I'm all turkeyed out by the time Thanksgiving comes around. But
to be honest with you, it's not even. I don't even take that as a bad opinion because honestly, I don't eat turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer ham and stuff like that, but
that's exactly and
I understand that. I'm just when it comes down to it, just in general, the dinner itself for me, it's just not, it's
I mean,
it's a great holiday. It's great to be with the family and be able to watch football all day, and I come from a football family.
Yeah.
We love the game, and
for
it
me,
makes it great for us. So
I mean, it's honestly one of my favorite holidays, if not my favorite holiday, because
it's just tradition. You know what's going to happen every Thanksgiving. You're going to get, a dinner all spread out, everything. You'll be surrounded by family. The Lions will lose. The Cowboys will lose.
I was waiting because you had the smirk on your face.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Know it's going to happen. It's obvious what happens. It's every Thanksgiving. It's the same thing every year. So
it's funny. I think I just saw a picture, of a graph of all the most watched Thanksgiving Day games. I think there's 25 of them. Every single one of them, except for one, was a Dallas Cowboy game.
Yeah, for some reason, people have this perception that like they're America's team or something, and they haven't won crap. So you're telling me like America's not winners, and I think America is full of winners. That's where I get confused, because you got to win to be considered America's team.
That's the point of being America's team. I mean, look at even when they're good, when they're bad. Whatever.
When they're bad, I care because I laugh. I mean, I'll laugh at them.
I don't.
Like the Tony Romo snap. Oh, my God. The funniest thing I ever saw.
You're a Jets fan. See, I never understood this. What is the Jets fan beef with the Cowboys?
No, there's no beef. I think it's just so funny because, like, every year, like, because as a Jet fan, my aspiration, they're at a certain level. But every year, Cowboy fans are like, we're going to win it all. And I almost am, I'm sitting there when you got guys like Tom Brady in the league and Aaron Rodgers and just all these great players. And it's been a while since I heard like an Emmitt Smith. Again, obviously you guys wanted Zeke Elliott to be that. You're not correct. It's a bad situation to be a Cowboy fan these days. I mean, it's a bad situation to be a Jet fan, obviously, but I knew we were going to suck. You guys thought you were going to be really, really good, and now all these teams coming in, they're all talking about the NFC already being planned out in the playoffs. I already got it planned out, too. Who are the Cowboys playing in the first round? Don't matter. They'll find a way. Botch a snap. Do something. I mean,
all right, so
speaking of nonsense, though, we talk about the Cowboys just messing around. It was a brutal game for them. A lot of penalties. A lot of big plays on both ends. I can't believe the Deshaun Jackson catch late in that game. You can't allow that late in the game. The penalties in itself as well. Just a lot of very exciting game, though. Big reason why a lot of people viewed it. Another game, not probably viewed by even half the people that viewed that game, Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah.
What was that in the fourth quarter from Dan Campbell?
I know.
The back-to-back timeouts, I haven't seen that in years. That's because usually you have intelligent people, coaching. So... But what happens is this is what goes on when you have a head coach that's doing play calls and he's now he's trying to manage the clock on top of it. It's a lot for a head coach.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Well, this is exactly what the Giants are doing right now. I mean, obviously they got rid of Jason Garrett and we talk about this, and now they brought in they didn't bring him in, but they promoted another former head coach. Who was it? Freddie Kitchens, right? Kitchens, from the Cleveland Browns. I don't know where you guys keep getting these gems from, but I mean, I don't see a difference, and I see Freddie Kitchens not doing this for much longer. And then you're going to force your head coach to do this, and you'll see the Giants making mistakes just as well as the Detroit Lions. But that was a disgrace. That was an embarrassment late in the game. You had every opportunity to get that ball with at least 2 minutes to go in the game, and you made it so that Chicago can have themselves a game-winning field goal. Yeah. So it was a pretty pathetic game. A lot of people expected it. Wasn't big viewership, understandable.
I feel like it's such an early game, too, because it usually starts around 12:30.
Well, I mean, I was all in on that game on the basis that I took Chicago in suicide. So it was one of those where, you basically...
Oh, so you definitely sweated that one out.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the game-winning extra point really got me. I'll be honest, it was a very nerve-wracking pick. It was the first time I took a road team the entire season. I love taking home teams. I don't like taking teams on the road. I don't care if they go to Detroit or anywhere else in the country. I am not a fan of a team on the road. Never have been. It's very difficult to win on the road. And I don't care how good you are or how bad you are. I mean, I've seen Kansas City almost lose to New York in New York. So, to the Jets I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that was as far apart as you could possibly be. So there's no locks in the NFL. But that's where I got most of my focus, though, to be honest with you, was in that game and just watching how you could watch a team lose a game.
Oh, yeah.
And, Detroit just does it every year. They're just so bad. When I'm a Jet fan,
Jared Goff is
he's pretty awful. Yeah, he's pretty bad. He can't move the ball. Robert Quinn was a big factor in that game for Chicago. I wouldn't understand anyone that I would get rid of him if they had him on their roster already. I'll be honest, I would never. The guy was unstoppable. A very, very big difference maker on the defensive side. And he's healthy, too. It's going to be one of those shows, folks, where I just completely... he thought he had a bad Thanksgiving. I'm going to keep reminding him of it every minute. No, I'm playing. The Cowboys, honestly, their offense, you know what you're getting. It's just unfortunate what happened with the two top wide receivers being out. But the fact that they were able to still move the ball consistently...
Put up 33 points.
Absolutely. And the Raiders' defense is no joke. The Raiders' defense is a very good defense, not the defense we're used to seeing in over there with the Raiders. And I don't want to say Vegas because they haven't been there that long. But since they moved out to Vegas, that defense is playing like a Vegas defense as opposed to an Oakland defense. So there's a different demeanor over there. And the Cowboys just ran into a team that it was a must-win for them. Absolutely a must-win. They play in a very tough division. The Chargers are very good. Denver's playing some good football. Kansas City, you know what you're going to get. That's three very tough teams within the division. I mean, and obviously these games outside the division against teams like the Cowboys and stuff like that, they're almost must-wins. So it's a good win for the Raiders. A bad loss for the Cowboys. I expect them to step right back on the pedal. They do have some favorable matchups coming up. They're just must-win games for the Cowboys. It'll be interesting. For his sake, they better hope they don't lose, because I'll be all over it, and I'm obviously going to laugh. Because it's just you expect it to be so good, and this is what happens with injuries, though. Honestly, you lose guys on the defensive end. You lose both of your defensive ends, and you don't get any pressure to the quarterback. Everybody in the league is going to light you up.
Other than Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons, yeah. I mean, well, he's a difference maker.
He's a stud.
He's a difference maker. Known fact. You hit with that one, which is always a nice feeling. But I know the feeling. I mean, even as from the Jet fan perspective, we lost to both, two different ends this year, and you can't really develop pass rush. It's very, very difficult to play out there. Very difficult to play defense, I should say, and be able to defend man-to-man coverage. You just can't play man-to-man at that point, because if your D-line can't get any pressure, you're vulnerable after 3 or 4 seconds. So then all of a sudden you play zone. Teams will try to drop underneath the zone, and it's very easy to manipulate how to move the football at that point. So, it's just unfortunate for the Cowboys with the injuries. Jets are feeling the same kind of ordeal. I mean, injuries are going to kill you, and they're really going to make a difference on your team. But can we please talk about the New York Jets having 2 top 5 picks in the draft right now?
Both Jets and Giants have two top 10 picks, which is kind of crazy. But before we get to that, have you seen the stat of teams that have not covered the spread? The next week, their record of covering the spread against the spread is like unbelievable. It's like 38 and like 8.
Wow.
It's insane. And I mean, if you're a big bettor, I would definitely look into that trend. It's definitely something that's winning a lot of people money now. I wish I had it with me right now. I keep seeing a video. Same guy keeps posting, like, oh, we got another win. Look at this record, But
it happens
it's crazy
all the time, because you know what it is? In the NFL, people forget real quick.
Yeah.
You forget about how talented people are. I mean, I remember when even Andrew Luck got hurt one year, and the next year people were doubting him. And it was like, well, I know what Andrew Luck is. I know how good he is. I don't care what kind of injury it is. Some people respond differently accordingly, but, he was different. But people forget in the NFL. It's just always been a known factor and always been a consistent situation. But that's an interesting fact with the spreads. I mean, but it makes sense.
It's 38 and 14.
Yeah.
And that was as of week 9. So far, week 2 it's 7-0. Week 3 it was 6-3. Week 4 it was 7-3. Week 5 was 5-2-1. Week 6 was 3-3. Week 7 1-2. Week 8 3-1, and week 9 6-0.
When a team didn't cover the spread?
When a team did not cover the spread the week before, they cover it the next week.
Oh, I got you. Well, I mean, it's
crazy.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, some teams will fall flat in the NFL here, at times. I've seen times, I mean, even Jacksonville. Jacksonville's fallen flat at plenty of times, but one of the few times they covered the spread was probably against the Bills. They didn't even get a touchdown in the game. So,
and another crazy stat is Tampa Bay with Tom Brady in primetime games.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Well, obviously
he hasn't covered at all.
Yeah, I know. It's quite interesting. Well, he did cover the last time.
Yeah,
he did cover the last time.
Yeah. But I mean,
I know that for a fact because I knew that factor going in.
But I mean, we could get into we're gonna get into more of the Giants in a little bit, but Jets. Yeah, let's talk about the Jets.
Well, they got themselves 2 lottery picks right now. Top
they do.
5ers.
Yes, and as I said, the Giants do too. Although with the loss or with Washington's win yesterday, I think now Seattle pops in between or something like that. Something happened. I think it's like the Jets moved up now. I think they're 3-4 or 4-5, and the Giants are 7-8 or something like that. But they're very close. I mean, heading into last night's game, I think they were 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's...
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting draft. Obviously, both teams have made really good trades to get rid of players that definitely had desire. But obviously the time wasn't now to win for either team. Obviously, the New York Giants have some holes to fill.
Yeah,
and so do the Jets. I mean, if I were the Jets, add another offensive lineman, and add yourselves a dynamic pass rusher, I would say, or a big time corner, because obviously the Jets have needs, and so do the Giants. The Giants secondary is pretty good, but the Giants need themselves an edge rusher. They might be potential move up into the draft kind of team. And the same thing with the Jets. I mean, there's no quarterbacks this year that are really getting overhyped. The top teams in the league this year are not going to be going quarterback. I mean, teams like Jacksonville don't need a quarterback at this point. I mean, you drafted one last year. Jets the same way. The Houston Texans could be on board for one, and therefore might have desire maybe even to move back at that standpoint. But they also need a dominant player on their defense. I mean, obviously there's a lot of holes to fill in Houston.
Yeah.
So that might be the option that they go there. Detroit, again, definitely in need of a dominant player on the defensive side. I mean, Detroit's done this before. They've taken Ndamukong Suh #1 overall. They know how to, go after the best player in the draft. So, Detroit most likely picking first. I don't think there'll be any debating that.
Yeah.
Even though I am a fan of them this week to beat Minnesota. That's just, between us folks. So I don't know what the spread. I don't know what the spread is or anything, but I saw a team with a lot of fight last week, and obviously the coach and not being able to just manage the game correctly, because they had every opportunity to find a way to get their first win. It would have been nice on Thanksgiving. But, again, another Thanksgiving tradition of a Detroit loss, Dallas loss, and a very good turkey dinner.
The night game was good, the Bills and the Saints. But with the Jets, they had another win. They actually had a win, but I guess the bad taste in the mouth portion of the Jets win is just that Zach Wilson did not look good at all.
No. And
that's the issue. That's the scary thing, because now the Giants and the Jets are basically they're in the same I want to say they're in the same boat, but they're really not, in terms of just they're both bad teams. They both have huge holes in very big positions. When it comes to the Giants, you're in a spot now. Now we already found out that Gettleman will be gone after the season. So that's what every Giant fan has been asking for. That's what everybody the writing was on the wall. You had to get rid of Gettleman. He just hasn't performed to what everybody thought he was going.
Yeah, he was pretty pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, that's 110%.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett was basically the scapegoat, just to kind of he was the chum, I guess. He was the guy that I was like, you know what, I'm going to throw something out there just so that, maybe it shows the fan base that we're heading in the right direction. Obviously, what's going on this season, nothing is going to bring this team back to a playoff spot or whatnot. But when it comes to the Giants, you have to think, is Joe Judge your coach? That is a huge question when it comes to, the Giants. And, I mean, most of their fan base, I don't think likes Joe Judge.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to have a new GM come in, and it's obviously a coach that was hired by the previous
and
GM, and the Jets put themselves in a situation like that before, and it was pretty pathetic. The whole situation, we were the laughingstock of the NFL, and certainly the New York Giants will be in the similar standpoint if something similar pans out here. I don't think Joe Judge is the answer. I think his style of coaching is just trying to be like Belichick too much, but obviously the demeanor there is not that. Yeah, you're not him. You're doing unorthodox things. It's been really embarrassing from the standpoint, screaming on the sidelines, your team making terrible mistakes. It's been an ongoing trend, and you continuing to get angry over the mistakes isn't going to fix them. Obviously, you got to teach them.
And now I feel like the biggest question when it comes to the Giants is Daniel Jones your quarterback of the future? Do I think so? To be honest with you, I don't think so. I think he's shown signs of being a decent quarterback, but I just don't think he's the one for the Giants right now. And I don't think they have the time, to waste.
What I see Daniel Jones, I see him as a capable backup in the NFL, but I also don't think that the New York Giants have used him very much correctly. There were times where, He's gone games not throwing a ball more than 5 yards down the field.
Is he a six pick?
Option quarterback runs, pathetic. I mean, these are terrible calls. Is he the 6th overall pick? No. That was a questionable pick that early on. And you definitely could have had a better asset. But, I mean, that's obviously, we're talking about years later. We're talking about this. Yeah. It's really hard to make that management call.
It's year 3? Year 4?
And, I mean, again, these are one of the many picks. Yeah, this is one of the many picks that the New York Giants have made recently is a big reason why their GMs are just flopping all over the place. For Daniel Jones, though, I don't think he'll have any problem finding another job if it ever came down to it and the New York Giants decided not to go with him going forward. But, when it comes down to Daniel Jones, he just seems like a guy who can come in as a backup and be more than capable of moving the ball.
Josh McCown.
No, I wouldn't say Josh McCown. Okay, yeah, maybe. That's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, McCown was always a capable backup, and he was definitely a threat to move the ball. So it actually fits pretty well.
Yeah, I just feel like he's the guy that, he can, or even like a Colt McCoy. Yes. A guy that can fit in for 3 games if you got to, and possibly get 2 out of those 3 games out of, a win. He's not a guy that's going to carry your team. Right now, the Giants need a quarterback that can carry the team. They don't have that.
Well, I'll be honest. They have a very good defense. Their secondary is incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, they spent a lot of money on it, so
of course.
You would hope so.
They've played very well, and they're a big reason why they won the game last week. Say what you want about Jalen Hurts. He's still got to make plays in that secondary, and obviously Jalen. I've been watching the game, and obviously he made like one throw, and I remember, and it was almost like doubt as to, maybe he is good. No, he's not.
No, I thought it was just hilarious.
I was in the bathroom at the time when he threw a pick in the end zone right before half. Because I saw it was 8 seconds left.
Dude, I
just heard people going, oh, my God. And I knew right away. I was like, this guy just messed up something.
It was perfect because I was like, I was thinking he's driving right down the field. And then they started to mess around too much towards the end. It was like, all right, they're actually going to go for it. You were thinking, all right, you know what? It's 10 seconds now. You're already just threw it away. Kick the field goal. Take the points.
Everything comes down. Everyone's like, oh, well, Jalen Reed is supposed to catch that. I go, well, if it's a 13-10 game, they just kick a field goal there, and the game's tied, and we continue to play football. Yeah. There's so much debating that you can do, and hearsay. People were really questioning that Jalen Reagor drop and all this and whatnot. Yeah. That was the biggest floating ball I've ever saw in my entire life. And I don't know about you. I mean, I've never experienced it a day in my life. But when a ball is floating in the air like that and you're a wide receiver and you're going to make that catch, odds are you're going to get smoked the second you catch the football. Yep. Whether you get smoked from the back, the front, the side, they're all going to feel the same. Yep. And it's going to hurt. So people questioning Jalen Reagor not making that catch, I don't even bother with that. It's that ball's got to be thrown better. I mean, you got to throw that ball like a dart. I saw Russell Wilson made a beautiful throw between the seam like that the other day. Last night, actually. Made a great throw down the seam. Made an easy touchdown. Same kind of play. It's just he floated it to him. Yeah. And it's like, you can't float this crap. I'm sorry, I'm saying crap. It's a football, not crap. But it just shows the frustration. I can only imagine being an Eagle.
Is crap.
I can imagine an Eagle fan just being like, this is what we got to deal with. And you know what's funny? Be the second best fantasy running back. Guy rushes for 100 yards a game. All right, cool, man. You keep rushing for 100 yards. Odds are you're going to get hurt. And if you don't get hurt, you're going to throw floaters all day long. That arm strength has got to get better. And if not, then you're looking at a team that's just going to be struggling. And they have a pretty good team over there in Philly, man. They know how to block. Can you imagine when this kid doesn't have anybody? Because he had all the time in the world in that last drive. It was like, oh, he's moving the ball well. I'm like, there wasn't a single Giant having any kind of pressure. Yeah. That's why I talked about before with the New York Giants potentially moving up for an edge rusher because that was bad. That was bad. They could not get a pass rush at all. Now, you credit the Philadelphia offensive line, but this kid had the best scenario you can have and still put up, how many points they scored? 7? They lost 13-7. Yeah, they put up 7 points.
Against the Giants.
And you didn't even face pressure for the most part.
Against the Giants.
And not to mention the awful pick in the end zone with 8 seconds left at half. You got to make sure you get points on that drive.
That was amazing.
Because I
literally texted you.
Wasn't it 13-7 or was it 10-7?
It was
10-7.
No,
right?
I think it was 3-0 at the time.
Oh, it was 3-0
at the time, and I I just saw
How do you not go to the tie game?
The play calling, and I was like, they're actually going to go for this. They're going for the touchdown. And I texted you specifically because I knew obviously it was Jalen Hurts. This was a perfect time. And I texted you literally 5 seconds before, and I said, God, what I would do for a pick from Jalen Hurts right now. And like right as I click send, they hiked the ball, and he ended up rolling out to the right and
it's just such a bad interception. I mean, you have to get points there. It makes every difference. And I mean, granted, that was a great drive he had at the end of the last game where he got the ball down to that certain point, but now everyone wants to blame Rieger for that. That's fine. You guys can blame Rieger. I see the game a lot differently than a lot of people. Yeah. I saw a ball get floated, and it was just, I mean, he's anticipating a hit. Yeah. Now, granted, you're a professional wide receiver. You make millions of dollars. You got to make the catches like that. But you shouldn't be putting your wide receiver in a scenario like that. I mean, he would have gotten rocked from behind for about safety. 100%.
Absolutely.
It's so difficult to make that catch at that point. That ball's got to be rocketed in there. He's got to catch it, secure it, get down, and make sure not to take a huge hit in the process. I mean, football's violent.
Yeah.
You could definitely get hurt on this football field. So it's very intriguing to see the different standpoints on that play nonetheless. But
seeing how obviously football is violent, we had some big injuries, especially to playoff teams. Obviously not a playoff team right now, but Carolina Panthers, they have officially said that Christian McCaffrey's out for the season. So that's a big loss because they are a bubble team, basically. Dalvin Cook will be out at least 2 weeks with a dislocated shoulder. Deebo Samuel and Fred Warner both out with injuries, which is huge for San Francisco because Deebo Samuel has been their offense. And then you have Ladarius White, who's out for the season for the Bills, who's their best
Tre'Davious White?
Tre'Davious White.
Oh, okay.
Ladarius White. I don't know where I got that from.
I don't know.
But yeah, Tre'Davious White.
Right.
Right.
Don't worry about it. Just stop trying his name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, that's a big loss, though. A good cornerback on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills obviously had a very complete team. This actually makes them somewhat vulnerable. And a big question is, right now that honestly everyone's talking about is the AFC East and who's going to win it. I mean, people have the Patriots right now. They are flying high. They are the best team in the league right now, the way they've been playing football. These have not been close games. I know I'm a Jet fan. They threw up 50 on us. So they've been playing really, really good football with a rookie quarterback. It's been impressive to watch the entire time. But and the question is, I mean, is it going to be the Bills or the Pats?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like when we look at it, and in all of sports, all we talk about is parity. That's all everybody wants is parity. That's always been the knock on the NBA is just that before the season starts who's going to be the dominant team, who's going to be in the NBA Finals. The NHL, there's a lot of parity in it. The Major League Baseball, even though there's high salaries, we're still seeing parity. We're still seeing teams keeping their top players and a different team in the World Series every year, whatever it is. And it was somewhat in the NFL, but we're seeing it all across the board this year. The parity, I feel, is at an all-time high in the NFL this year. There's not one dominant team in the NFL right now. Every single team can be beat at any time. The Cardinals, yes, they are 9-2, but I still think that they're a team that can be beat. And that's the only team that you can look at and say they're the most dominant team in the league right now. They've had the last 3 weeks without their quarterback, without their wide receiver. So it'll be interesting to see. They're coming back from the bye. It'll be interesting to see if Kyler Murray plays, if DeAndre Hopkins plays. I'm sure they will. And we'll see where that Cardinals team goes from here. Rams are completely overrated. I don't care what anybody says. They are completely overrated. They add Odell Beckham. They add Von Miller. They still cannot get wins. They're 3 down. They just lost 3 straight. And they're losing teams. They're losing to the teams that are ahead of them, and that's the issue. I just feel like they're a very overrated team, and therefore I think they're getting knocked down a couple of pegs here. And I think home field advantage is out the window for them. So that number 1 pick is out the window. And the scary thing is you're looking at Green Bay that's up there as well. Nobody wants to go to Lambeau. Nobody. Doesn't matter how much of a better team this team is compared to the Packers. You go to Lambeau, everything's off the board. You're going into 0-degree weather. That football, and especially now with the extra week, we're going into colder weather.
Yeah, potentially, absolutely, without a doubt.
And that's the scary thing. It's different in terms of Arizona because Arizona plays in a dome. So that is the ultimate.
Yeah, I think Dallas would have no shot in Lambeau. Is that basically the point we're coming at right here? Because it's true.
Oh, so you're just on a hate Dallas.
They would have no shot.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. I was just talking about. I was just talking about
no running game. Elliott, gets 3 yards a carry. Yeah. It's typical Elliott game.
You're not ruffling my feathers. It's not happening.
The pass rush for Dallas will just destroy Aaron Rodgers. I can picture it in my head right now, fully. The pass rush just getting to him the entire game.
Listen,
it'd be scary.
We'll see.
It would be so scary.
We'll see what happens when Randy
who's
Gregory
gonna block
gets
Aaron Donald? I don't know what. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But when it comes to the NFC, it's going to go between the Rams and the Green Bay Packers. I'm not even looking at Dallas. It don't matter. Cool probably get COVID again. It does not. Your head coach got COVID right now. No hope. The gods of NFL, the NFL gods.
What about the Cardinals?
All the ref calls last week. It's not meant ever for Dallas. It's going to be a long time before, America's team makes America happy, I guess. I'm here to, I feel like America's full of winners. And obviously, when I look at Dallas, I just don't see winning.
So you think America's full of winners right now?
Yeah, we are full of winners right now.
We are
full of winners.
We are the biggest losers in the world right now.
Yeah, no, you got that right. The Dallas Cowboys, right? The biggest losers in the world right now. Yeah, America's team.
Listen, but you also said Packers and Rams.
Yeah, I didn't say Cowboys.
Yeah, but you also didn't say the Cardinals.
Yeah, no. So Kyler Murray probably be hurting like a week. He keeps playing the way he does, and I've talked about this. With running quarterbacks in this league, you cannot continue to run the football as frequently as these quarterbacks are doing. I'm watching a lot of quarterbacks that really manage it well. Guys like Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, they manage it really, really well. But then you got Kyler Murray, who's really dependent on it. And he's been finding people downfield more and more. So he really has been more and more dynamic. He's definitely what, the Philadelphia Eagles wish they had with Jalen Hurts, 100%. It's probably exactly what Miami wanted out of Tua. So Arizona definitely hit with this guy, and he's very good. He just has to be more careful, or else he's going to find himself injured again. And that's the big reason why you're not seeing this team rush him back at all. They know his style of play. And in order for him to be able to move the way he needs to move, he needs to be healthy. So it really is a question of how his health will plan out. But I don't see Arizona making it on the basis of that. Plus,
now, you're backing the Rams, you said. Now, that means you're backing Matt Stafford, who is officially now 9-70 against teams over 500.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. He continues to be great. Now, he's honestly, out of those 70 losses.
I know a lot of it obviously is because he played for Detroit, but still.
No, we're talking a lot of it's because he's been hurt too, and there's a big problem with that. So,
but 9-70?
Yeah, he's been hurt probably for 35 of those games. He played behind a Detroit offensive line for, about 10 years. So, you're going to get hit a lot. He's dealing with injuries too. So, it honestly, I can understand what you mean. Like, it's hard to say the Rams will make it with injuries, but it really will come down to that. These guys just, the focus is to stay healthy right now. And, for teams like Arizona, Dallas, it's been very difficult. Green Bay even too. Green Bay's got a lot of injuries on that defensive side. So a lot of teams have been dealing with a lot of injuries right now. The only team that really has, dealt with minimal so far has been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But even they've had some big
their whole
big
secondary
hits.
is
Obviously, and then missing Antonio Brown and then Vita Vea even for last week was a big impact, always is a big reason why Washington was able to knock off Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
but you dodge these injuries and you find yourself in a good situation. So right now the NFC is wide open. We'll see if Dallas can get a healthy wide receiver by playoff time. We go from there. But again, with the unpredictability of COVID-19 and stuff like that, it makes it very difficult.
Yeah,
Am I still supposed to call it COVID-19 or is it just COVID or?
To be honest with you, I don't even know. We got the new variant out, Omicron, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So, I was looking at an article from a past coworker when I was working at SiriusXM. He does articles for NFL.com. Adam Shine. He also has a show on CBS and also has a radio show for Sirius. He did an article on the NFL and just basically bringing up like 7 or 8 questions, and he did a true and false. So I want to do the true and false with his questions, or statements, I should say. We don't even have to say what he says, but I want to hear yours. I'll give mine. So we'll start off. Number 1, he has the Patriots will nab the AFC's number 1 seed. So not just AFC East. He's saying the number 1 seed in the AFC. Now, Patriots have been unbelievable right now. They're one of the most complete teams, I feel like, in the NFL. Their defense is playing great. They're running the ball great. Mac Jones is not turning the ball over. That's the biggest thing. He's also not like doing anything fantastic. But he's playing a role for the Patriots, and it's working. So, true or false, the Patriots will nab the AFC's number 1 seed.
Are they number 1 right now?
I believe so.
Yeah, then they will, because obviously the rest of the season, of course, it's the New England way, and the Bills obviously just missing their top cornerback. So of course the Patriots haven't played the Bills at all this season so far. So they get 2 matchups against the Bills. They got a matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars and a matchup against the Miami Dolphins. So it seems like 4 wins for the Patriots might be a possibility. The other game obviously being the Colts in Indianapolis. That's going to be a tough one to win. For me, I think it's Indianapolis is the best team in this, but their record not being that well. So, yeah, I think the Patriots do finish as the number 1 seed, and I think the Indianapolis Colts come out of the AFC championship game no matter who they play.
Yeah, for me, I mean, if we're looking at the Patriots, their schedule remaining, they got Bills, Colts, Bills, Jaguars, Dolphins.
Yeah.
So
2 wins against the Bills because obviously they don't have the number 1 corner, and they've been awful on the defensive side lately in Buffalo. So, good luck over there. New England will find a way to beat them. Belichick will outcoach, in general.
Yeah.
So that'll be it.
And the Bills have Patriots, Bucks, Panthers, Patriots, Falcons, Jets. So
that seems like 4 wins as well. But again, with the Patriots already being the number 1, I think that's the difference maker. Those games with the Bills and Patriots are going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean,
it really comes down to those 2 games because you're looking at 2 teams that have 2 absolute gonna win the game. You got another 2 teams for the Bills, same thing, absolute wins against the Jets and whatnot. And it really comes down to the matchups between the Patriots and Bills, and obviously the Bills missing their top corner is going to be a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is going to be everything.
Yeah, because, I mean, you look at the Ravens. The Ravens are up there, too, but the Ravens have the Steelers, Browns, Packers, Bengals, Rams, Steelers.
Yeah, good luck.
They have a tough schedule going down the stretch. And then the other team, you have the Titans. The Titans are up there, but look at the rest of their schedule. They got the bye, Jaguars, Steelers, 49ers, Dolphins, Texans. It's a very easy schedule, though.
It's going to be the Patriots.
And
if
then
the Patriots are number 1 right now, that'll be it.
The Colts.
Yeah, their record sucks.
Texans bye.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots, Cardinals, Raiders,
yep.
Jaguars.
Dude, and, they have a crappy record.
Yeah.
They're going to sneak into the playoffs. The Colts will be a very...
They're going to be the team that you
It'll be a
play.
tough road.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I think, no doubt in my mind, I think Indianapolis Colts come out of that conference winners, and they go to they're going to the Super Bowl.
So we're both saying true on the Patriots.
Absolutely. I think there's a redemption year for Wentz. I think Wentz finds himself in the Super Bowl after coming so close, obviously, with the Philadelphia Eagles a couple of years ago. I think that'll even be funnier. towards Philadelphia Eagle fans, just in general. I think it'll just be hysterical to watch as their old, quarterback goes on to win the Super Bowl with another team while they sit there with Jalen Hurts. So it's so funny. I'm trying my best as I talk about it to hold my laugh in, and it really is. It's just extremely amusing, the whole situation. I didn't understand why they lost out on Wentz right off the bat like that. I really thought that was all Doug Peterson, had nothing to do with Carson Wentz at all. You're looking at play calling and everything else. They don't run the football a lot. Yeah, he was dealing with injuries, absolutely. But but you give the guy an offensive line, give the guy some protection, and it's over. You know, so Philly's got some moves to make going forward. But again, very, very funny with the whole situation.
Oh yeah, definitely. So number 2, the Steelers are cooked. True or false?
No, Steelers are not cooked at all. I think they're just an offensive line revamp from making themselves relevant again.
I think he's meaning this season.
Oh, like this year? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The offensive line has been so bad. It's been bad all year. The fact that they won any games was just detrimental to the organization because you wanted a higher pick. This draft coming up, though, there's a lot of offensive linemen. A lot. Yeah. The draft capital for offensive linemen is probably more this year than in previous years past. So.
I mean, I could see them being up there in the top 10. I mean, if you look at the rest of their schedule, Ravens, Vikings, Titans, Chiefs, Browns, Ravens. I don't see another win.
Maybe Titans. Titans without any of the wide receivers are pathetic.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, the Steelers are cooked this year. There's no doubt.
True.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger has been cooked for about 2 or 3 years now.
He's got to retire.
Yeah, of course. And it's more than him. The offensive line can't protect, and when you have a quarterback that can't be mobile, it's over. So
but they're not even running the ball. Like, they have Najee Harris, and they're not even running the ball.
Well, yeah, it's because they can't. Obviously, the offensive line does not create any holes. You watch some of these teams like San Fran and the Rams. They open up these huge holes for their running backs. So, even people talk about Darrell Henderson being like the next coming of Jesus.
Yeah.
And the truth is that they just get great blocking up front. So, obviously, it just really works on the situation. Najee Harris, I don't blame at all. He's been very dynamic for them. We're going to go to number 3, though. We'll stay in the division. We're going to go with the Bengals are the most dangerous team in the AFC North. And I'm going to go false on this. I really do think that Joe Mixon having a great year. Joe Burrow probably even better. I give it 2 more weeks before Joe Burrow gets hurt again. This guy takes sacks a lot. Cincinnati's defense probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I think the Ravens are the best team in this division. I'm pretty sure that they'll show them in the playoffs.
Yeah. The Bengals are a very hot and cold team. We see a game like we just saw last week with the Steelers. They put up 40-something points. Joe Mixon looks like one of the best running backs in the league. And then they have games where they just literally fall on their face. And it's just it's unbelievable.
Well, they're just not good. I mean, the defense is terrible. I think you let Mike White score 4 touchdowns on you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You're on your own with that. Yeah. And that's really just no tackling.
Yeah.
And when you can't tackle well in this league, you're not going to win. The Bengals, this is actually, can we move on to the next one? Because this actually makes me sick to my stomach.
You're saying false.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm on the fence. I really don't know true or false.
Yeah, name me 2 players on that defense, and then we'll start talking again, okay? I mean, honestly, that's the problem. And honestly, they talk about scoring defense with the Bengals defense. Get this out of my face, man. Just stop going to dynamics. I watched their defense get shredded so many times.
By Mike White.
And others. I mean, it really just hasn't been him, man. But we'll move on quickly to number 4. I'm so sorry for the waste of time on number 3. The NFC's 7 playoff teams are all set. And by the 7 teams, they actually mean the Cardinals, the Packers, the Buccaneers, the Cowboys, and the Rams. And, probably the San Francisco 49ers actually is another spot. Vikings currently hold the spot. But
the number 7 team is Washington with that win last night.
And that was a great job by Washington. They obviously have actually played a little better as the weeks have gone on. I feel like the defense has been more effective, but I think that was more Russell Wilson and the Seattle offense and defense just being atrocious. It comes down to it. The NFC's really set when it comes to the playoffs right now. And for me, I talked about the Colts coming out of the AFC, and I'm obviously very confident in that. But I'm going to just go with the Buccaneers to come out of the NFC. I'm pretty sure there's no doubt about it. They've really dealt with minimal injuries all year. losing Antonio Brown, that everyone's talking about, their offense isn't the same. He will come back at some point. When he does come back, this team will be very dangerous again. It'll be laughable watching them play the Cowboys. It really will. I mean, it won't even be close. I mean, you guys.
They had everybody in week 1, and the Cowboys took them to the brink.
Elliott's are going to sit there and get 1-yard gains come playoff time because nobody's running on the Tampa Bay defense. I mean, is anyone running on the Cowboys? I can't tell.
Listen,
has anybody run on the Cowboys?
We didn't run against the Buccaneers in week 1, but we passed the hell out of it.
Yeah, they had 4 injuries to the secondary in the game, so they were playing with 2 corners.
They got
but it's
the
truth. This is what happens. I mean, you had every chance to win, and you just found a way to lose. So,
so you're
same thing come playoff time, 100%. It might even be closer, and actually probably be more heartbreaking, but it'll be a loss.
So you're saying this is true.
Yeah, and it's going to be
Washington at 7.
Yeah, that's fine. It don't matter. Washington, San Fran, Vikings, it does not matter. They're not going to be relevant. It's going to be all Buccaneers, no doubt in my mind. Cowboys might get a win, maybe against like Washington. Some feel good about themselves, clap, whatever. And then it'll come down to a Buccaneers matchup or Packers matchup in Lambeau like we talked about. Arizona, they might have hope if Kyler Murray gets hurt the week before. But again, number 4 actually really hitting it spot on. I think, you got it right. The NFC is going to be pretty much made up of those teams. And what do we got with number 5?
So number 5. So I'm going to say on number 4, I'll say true.
Yeah, I figured that. I mean, this is pretty much a no doubt. Those are really good teams right now.
The Panthers are making the right call and sticking with Cam.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Thank God you read it. Because I wouldn't have held a straight face while I read this.
I am a huge false on this.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, I saw the 2 interceptions. I mean, he can run the ball well in the red zone, and he's very consistent in the red zone. I'll give him that. Got to get to the red zone. Seemed like it was absolutely impossible against a Miami team that everyone's been getting to the red zone on. And obviously when it's a choice between him and Sam Darnold, the Panthers are in trouble. Obviously.
But, you have P.J. Walker play the one game against the Cardinals. You beat the Cardinals, yet you sit, P.J. Walker, and P.J. Walker played well, and you sit him for Cam Newton, who is absolutely so bad. That's a 5.8 passer rating last week. 5 for 21, 92 yards, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, no, he was absolutely borderline pathetic. So
I mean,
obviously,
this is totally false.
Yeah, number 5 just even being an option. I'm just glad you read it because I would have started laughing mid-sentence.
You might laugh on this one too.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll actually read it. The Eagles quarterback of the future is on the roster.
False. Totally false. I mean,
words can't express the stress of what I'm going to explain right now, and I'm pretty sure it's absolutely false. Is he on the team? Yeah. If you want to go technical with this, but it's not going to be a good future.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do say true. I think they do stick with Jalen Hurts for about 2 to 3 years. And we get to watch this for a while. But he's going to have to show arm strength. I mean, Lamar Jackson was in the same boat. And I said, wow, this guy can't throw. All of a sudden, he worked on it. And he has been a lot better, a lot more efficient. And he's definitely made progress. So is there a possibility for progress with Hurts? Absolutely. But it starts with arm strength. And if he does not develop arm strength, I don't care how accurate he is. I mean, I watched the ball. He threw an interception even earlier in that game. I mean, the safety for the Giants could have literally just been both feet just inside on the opposite end of the field, right inside the out of bounds, come all the way across and make the interception on the other hash mark because these floating passes, you're giving defenders opportunities to get there.
17.5 passer rating.
I don't even. You don't got to talk to me about it. There's we've talked about this too many times. It sounds like a broken record. You already seen my stance on Jalen Hurts. It's not good.
Well, that's the thing. It's just to the point now. I feel like we've spoken about him every week so far, and he's just proving us right. Every single week.
And honestly, I've had people come up to me with a straight face and be like, "Well, he's the number 2 quarterback in fantasy football."
That doesn't mean you're good, though.
I was about to curse, but I didn't. But the truth is that I don't care, and I wasn't going to say I don't care. I was going to say I don't. You know what I mean? Don't care about that at all. I mean, ask any Eagle fan. Hey man, you want a Super Bowl or do you want a fantasy championship ring?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody wants a Super Bowl ring. I mean, if I wasn't a Jet fan and I didn't think that it was so hopeless, I wouldn't even care about fantasy football right now. That's literally how it works. So, but we obviously go to number 7. I want to get off this topic right away. I mean, Jalen Hurts, horrible quarterback. Is he the quarterback of the future? Yes. Is it a bright future? No. Number 7, we're going to go with Aaron Rodgers as a top 3 MVP candidate, and I'm going to go true. I mean, this guy is he just shows every year that he is really one of the best, and really the ball's in his court when it comes to the Green Bay and him rift that we had going in the beginning of the season. It's not going to be, Aaron Rodgers missing Green Bay. It's going to be Green Bay missing Aaron Rodgers, so they might want to work on that at some point in the offseason. But Rodgers is really just the man, and he can find a way to move the ball every single week. I've been seeing him do it for about 6-7 years straight every week. It's incredible. He's a great talent.
Yeah, so COVID toe, Aaron Rodgers. Do I think he is a top 3 MVP candidate?
I'm not gonna lie, I did see that article where he actually, I saw they had a video of it and everything of him showing his toe.
Yeah,
I skipped over it because I didn't care about that. I mean, people might have thought that was funny.
He's got a fractured toe. I mean, the fact that someone actually thought it was true that there's a thing called COVID toe, you can't be more stupid. You just can't be more stupid.
Well, don't worry. That person found a way. Like, someone else hired them, too.
Listen, I know.
The stupid tree just goes up and up. So, obviously, I'm not going to fault it on the one person that would say something. Obviously, someone hired that person, and then someone hired that person.
So, it started first. It started with Pat McAfee. So, Aaron Rodgers has a weekly spot with Pat McAfee's radio show. Pat, being the jokester that he is, said, because the whole thing with his toe came out. So he said, "Oh, you got COVID toe." And these reporters run with it and think it's true. And he literally asked Aaron Rodgers a question about COVID toe in an interview. I was mind boggled.
These are people that just don't know anything and they just believe anything they'll read on the internet. It's pretty pathetic. Just like someone saying that Jalen Hurts and Cam Newton is the right choice. All this kind of stuff they read on the internet. Yeah. It just makes zero sense. Yeah, but this one actually does make sense. I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers, definitely an MVP candidate.
I will say true on the MVP candidate. I will say false on whatever hairdo he's got going on right now, because it's got to go. He looks like an idiot.
No comment. I don't care about his hair. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't care about his hair.
You don't care about his toe?
Yeah, I just care about
his toe. The toe could be a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, the hair's gross, but again, it's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? And obviously, the Rams with their all-in approach, was it a failure or not? It's argument. But obviously, this team's going to miss Robert Woods, a very dependable player for that team. Obviously, didn't have Cam Akers in the beginning of the season. The Rams have had their share of injuries. Matt Stafford clearly not looking healthy at all. They're saying he looks like Jared Goff. You could tell, there's no doubt in my mind, that Matthew Stafford is hurt currently right now. I'm pretty sure it's something with his back or something else. I don't care. There's no excuses here in the NFL. The Rams all-in approach right now. Is it a failure? Absolutely. You know why? Because they haven't played a Super Bowl yet. Yep. If they win a Super Bowl this year, then absolutely. Am I picking them to even win the Super Bowl? No. I'm going with the Buccaneers. So therefore, I think this all-in approach, absolute failure.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with you on that one. That's a true one. Matthew Stafford 9-70 against teams over 500. That's all I gotta say. Robert Woods was a big miss, and Von Miller, you really haven't heard much. Odell Beckham, you've only heard bad things. So, yes, it is a failure, and it is true that it's a failure. So number 9, the last one. All right, hold in your laughter.
Okay, will do.
Firing Jason Garrett solves everything for the Giants.
No, I don't think it's. I think this is absolutely false. I think the New York Giants have a lot of issues right now. I think putting Freddie Kitchens in over Jason Garrett gives you the same problems. I don't see a difference between the two. But obviously, firing Jason Garrett does nothing for an organization.
It was just a scapegoat.
I've seen organizations fire Jason Garrett before and still do nothing. So there's definitely debate on both standpoints here. But no, obviously firing Jason Garrett is not going to solve everything for the Giants. It didn't solve everything for the Cowboys. Why would it do it for the Giants?
How did it not solve everything for the Cowboys?
Kidding. Dak Prescott. I'm done. I'm done with that team. Daniel Jones, same thing. I mean, honestly, when it comes to the NFC East, it's been pathetic. I've been watching it. Thank God the Cowboys win it all. I mean, because if they didn't, I'd be worried. Because obviously that rest of that division is just pathetic. The Giants, Eagles, and even Washington dealing with everything they have. If Dallas doesn't come out as division winners, I don't even know what else to tell them. But obviously, when it comes to the Giants, there's no division winning in sight. There's no success in sight. They got to take these two top 10 picks, get rid of David Gettleman, which makes it a problem now. Because not only are you going to fire Jason Garrett, you're probably going to fire Joe Judge. I don't understand a GM that would ever come in, be like, you know what? Never met you a day in my life? Cool, you could be my head coach. You scream a lot and you make coaches run laps? Cool. That sounds like it's right down my alley. I'm telling you right now, if I'm the GM that gets hired by the Giants, that ain't happening. I'm getting rid of this coach as well. So getting rid of Jason Garrett it's just the beginning. Yeah. And the New York Giants obviously a fail. But there's nothing you can do there. You just move on and go from there. You have a great secondary. You just got to find some pass rush right now. You have some weapons on that offensive side. I like the kid Tony. I think it was a great draft pick by the New York Giants.
Too early.
One of the many first-round picks they have starting right now. So they've obviously used their draft capital a lot. Daniel Jones as well, obviously, but they got to find solutions. It's got to come from the offensive line. It's been nothing short of terrible. Again, like I talked about, this offensive line draft board, there's a lot of them, and the New York Giants will have every opportunity to grab one in the draft.
Well, I mean, look at the Giants with, like you were saying with the draft capital. Like, look at what they spent their draft picks on. All right, so you look at their starting lineups. Daniel Jones, 6th pick. Saquon Barkley, 2 pick. Tony, 1st round pick. Will Hernandez, 1st round pick. Andrew Thomas, 1st round pick. I mean, do I got to keep going?
Well, Will Hernandez was an early second.
Early second. Okay. But still, a 1st or 2nd round pick, and you're as bad as anything. Like, it's either you're drafting bad or you're just everything is horrible.
Well, right now, the offensive line has got to figure it out. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. It's really the offensive line. And obviously, what they did wrong was they actually went and they bought a lot of tackles, and it didn't work out for them. So they went out and drafted Andrew Thomas, who's been definitely a brighter spot for the New York Giants. I think they've been really, really...
If he stays healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. But just like any left tackle, you're talking to a Jet fan, you're talking to a Cowboy fan. Yeah, no. I mean, Tyron Smith couldn't stay healthy. Neither can Mekhi Becton. It's very difficult to stay healthy at that position. People rolling over your ankles, everything else. But, for the Giants, it really will start with this draft that they got coming up. I'm pretty sure they can really just hope that this season really is like a wash at this point. I don't think they know that... I'm pretty sure they're aware that they're not going anywhere this year. Right now you need to really just experiment to see what you do have. Again, like I said, they have a lot of talent on that offensive side of the football. They really just got to clean up that offensive line. I think you give Daniel Jones one more year. You definitely don't hire him to that extra year. And then you go from there. You don't franchise him. You don't do anything else. You give him one more opportunity to be successful. It's been 4 years. You got to be able to do it by your 4th year. And if you can't do it at that standpoint, and they got to really just increase the offensive line because he's had nothing to work with.
Oh, yeah.
But Joe Judge's got to stop with these quarterback calls where he's running the football right away.
Or catching it.
You're not giving the team any option to throw, pass. Obviously, it just seems like right now the Giants are in absolute chaos. And firing Jason Garrett's not going to solve everything, but it does solve the stuff in the very beginning. It's not like it made a difference. They put up 13 points last week. Their offense has a lot of work to do.
So, before we get out of here, expectations for week 13 or week 14, actually. So what are you expecting? What are we seeing? What are we expecting to see in week 14?
I mean, I'll be honest. I expect to see, really teams running away, and we get a clear idea of what's going to be, how this team is going to pan out. Unfortunately, how the NFL has been shifting all year long. One year we had the Rams as number 1. Another year we had we had the Cowboys at 1 at one point. Excuse me, 1 minute.
We did.
Yeah.
Because they were.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so then we had the Rams, so we had the Cowboys, and then we obviously had the Buccaneers in the beginning of the season. We even had the Chiefs up there at times, and we were questioning whether the Chiefs were even a top 10 team. So the league has been really in a shambles. So I expect by week 14, and honestly by the completion of week 14, for us to have a clear idea of where these teams stand in the playoffs. Like we talked about, the NFC's pretty much figured out. The AFC, a lot of teams that I actually personally like aren't even in a playoff spot right now. So there's a lot of shifting that needs to go around. I think that gets cleared up by week 14, no doubt in my mind.
So I'm expecting it's actually week 13. I don't know why I keep saying week 14.
Well, but what I was trying to tell you was that's why it confused me. But by week 14, I expect to get a clear understanding of the playoff picture at that point.
So what I'm expecting for week 13, It's just basically all the top teams to get W's. I mean, we're looking at, all these top teams. Arizona, I see, getting a win. Cowboys getting a win. The Colts getting a win. The Chargers or the Bengals. That's a good game, actually. Tampa Bay getting a win. The Rams getting a win. The Raiders getting a win. The Ravens getting a win. The 49ers winning. The Chiefs winning. And then you have the Monday night game, which is going to be the best game of the week. Wow. Bills and Patriots.
You guys get Dallas. Dallas gets New Orleans. What a joke. So lucky. No Kamara probably. And then it should be so tough for Dallas to win that game. So... all day long.
All day. All day.
Yeah, I know it hurts. That's why I do it.
Yeah, so I'm expecting all the top teams to get dubs. And in that Monday night game, I'm expecting a very, very, very good game between the Bills and the Patriots. And I'm going to say the Patriots win.
Yeah, I'm going with you on the Patriots on this one. I mean, honestly, it's a game I would never touch. It's going to be back and forth. But yeah. I think missing Tre'Davious White is going to be a big part of the Buffalo Bills, and I'm pretty sure you'll see the difference. I think, right now you just got the better running game going to the New England Patriots, and Buffalo's got to clean up that running game. And if they don't, you're looking at a Buffalo team that's going to struggle on Monday night.
Absolutely. But that will do it for today's show. Hope everybody had a fun Thanksgiving, and it's a holiday season now, so be careful, have fun, save some money, buy some presents. Yeah, buddy. That will do it for the show. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy.
Be breezy. And it is all over. You've been listening to Running Up the Score. We run up the score on Sports Radio. For more Running Up the Score, go follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at RUTS Sports.